Aswang is a cryptid in Filipino folklore. The Aswang is an evil werewolf and vampire-like creature and is the subject of a wide variety of myths and stories. Spanish colonists noted that the Aswang was the most feared among the mythical creatures of the Philippines. The myth of the Aswang is well known throughout the Philippines. It's especially popular in the Western Visayan regions. Aswang stories and definitions vary greatly from region to region and person to person, and no particular set of characteristics can be ascribed to the term. The wide variety of descriptions in the Aswang stories makes it difficult to settle upon a fixed definition of Aswang appearances or activities. However, several common themes that alter Aswangs from other mythological creatures do emerge. The Aswang's most fearsome ability is its knack for blending in with its victims. During the day, Aswangs look and act just like regular people. Although they are generally shy and somewhat recluse, they can have jobs, friends, and even families. During the night, Aswangs shift into a form that is better suited to hunting. Different regional versions of the creature are said to take on different forms. The tik-tik and wak-wak become large birds, while the zegbane takes on the form of a Tasmanian devil. Aswangs have also been reported shifting into pigs and dogs. In addition to shapeshifting, Aswangs also have the ability to transform the appearance of other objects. It's common for an Aswang to transform plant material into a double of one of its victims, in order to hide the evidence of its feeding habits from locals. Another tactic Aswangs use to disguise themselves is to use sinister vocal tricks. As the fearsome predator gets closer to its victims, its calls gets quieter and quieter, so its victim is tricked into thinking the monster is actually getting further away. Despite the fact that belief in this terrifying creature has spread throughout the Philippines, there aren't many well-known individual stories. Instead, the Aswang's fame is built on a collection of first-hand encounters, and almost everyone who claims to have seen this fabled creature has a slightly different report. After posting about the Aswang a while back, some of my subscribers sent me some of their personal stories. One man named Joshua sent me the following story. One day I was walking outside with my sister. At the time we were both young. I was 12 and she was 8 years old. We live not too far from the jungle and would always walk there. It's a beautiful place and has always captured my imagination. The Aswang is well known where I'm from. I've heard stories from many people and even my friends' parents have told me their own personal stories. While on our walk, me and my sister encountered this person. What was strange is that they were very tall. We didn't recognise this person, and this was odd because we knew many of the local people. The only way I can really describe the person is that they was really white and tall. What I mean by this is it looked like the person's face was painted. It was one of the creepiest things I've ever seen. As soon as my sister saw him, she hid behind me. What happened next though was even more bizarre. After locking eyes with us for what seemed like forever, the man then climbed a nearby tree. This was weird enough, but it was the speed that he climbed the tree which was strange. Within 15 seconds he was at the top of a 20 to 30 foot tree. This may not sound high, but it was a thick tree. After this he stayed at the top of the tree and would let out a screech sound. We ran back and asked my parents to come and take a look. They could tell we had seen something as my sister was visibly distressed. However, when we came back the man was nowhere to be seen. The only indication that someone had been there was the large footprints in the mud. These led deep into the forest. After describing to my parents what we witnessed, they thought it may have been a hermit who was living in the forest, or even someone that was raised by wild animals. Since that encounter though, I've never seen anyone who matches the man's description. I believe that what we witnessed that day was an Aswang, and some of the local neighbours even agreed with us that what we saw was an Aswang. Another person said the following about their encounter. When I encountered what I thought was an Aswang, I didn't know what to do. This encounter happened during the night. I had always been aware of the creature but had never seen one in real life. This is something that stuck with me. As I was walking home, I could see that I was being followed. It was very obvious as well. When I stopped, they would stop. After walking for 5 minutes, we came to a bend and this is when I tried to run from them. After running for several minutes, I looked behind my shoulder to see this person running as well. This person or thing was very ugly. It looked like a zombie. After I got close to home, the thing just stopped running. It then slowly walked back into the darkness. It wasn't human, I'm sure of it. I know that doesn't sound possible, but the way it looked wasn't normal. It didn't even run normal. It was running very low to the ground, and I thought at one point it was running on all fours. This thing has creeped me out for many years. Some have compared the Aswang to the Dogman, with some people coming forward and saying they've actually seen them transform into a Dogman. The Dogman has been witnessed by many people over the years, and it's said to be a werewolf type creature. It was first reported in 1887 in Wexford County, Michigan. Sightings have been reported in several locations throughout Michigan, primarily in the northwestern quadrant of the Lower Peninsula. In 1987, the legend of the Michigan Dogman gained popularity when a disc jockey recorded a song about the creature and its reported sightings. Over the years, many stories have been reported. In 1961, one of the most detailed accounts happened. A night watchman was patrolling a manufacturing plant in Big Rapids, Michigan. During this night shift, they saw a peculiar figure. At first, he thought it was a person until he saw the dog-like features. He approached the creature with caution and was able to snap this photograph. The photos still remain an unsolved mystery. These Aswangs have been witnessed all around the world. One person said they saw a bird-like creature transform into a dogman. This happened in the summer of 2001. The eyewitness said the following: "My brother and I were looking out towards the back of our house. Where we live is very marshy, and during the night time we get a lot of wildlife back there. On this occasion we noticed that some of the wild deer had run off. When we looked closely we could see a giant bird was hovering above them. However, as it started to fly down it went behind some grass. Then a matter of seconds later a large dog-like creature stood up and ran off into the brush." Another sighting of the alleged Aswang follows a similar theme. The eyewitness states that while living in the Philippines for a few years they witnessed a strange creature. However, instead of describing a physical creature, they said that it appeared to be an apparition. They had this to say: "While visiting some friends, me and my husband had a strange encounter. The place we were staying at was very nice, but it did have a weird feeling to it. We are believers in the paranormal, and from the first night we thought that it could have been haunted. During the first few nights nothing happened. But on night 6 I encountered something bizarre. This entity was making banging noises around my room. It was so loud that it actually woke me up. After looking around I couldn't see anything, but then I caught a glimpse of these balls of light at the end of my bed. I soon realised these eyes belonged to an apparition. It didn't help that I froze when I saw it. I was so scared that I couldn't move. After 30 seconds or so it just vanished in front of my eyes. I woke my husband up crying, and we moved out of that apartment that night. Some have told me that I encountered the Aswang. As fantastic as stories of the Aswang might seem, they may actually be inspired by real-life events. One theory is that the native wildlife was the inspiration for the legends. The tick-tick and whack-whack hunting calls the monster is said to make are probably the cause of nocturnal birds. Bats, birds, mammals, and also an endangered species of flying lemur have all been hunted. This is because people think they're an Aswang in a transformed state. Finally, the Aswang legend may be used to explain away disappearances in the Philippines. When a person disappears, it may be easier for local people to attribute the crime to a demon, rather than one of their fellow humans. Tabloids often attribute crimes to the Aswang, which adds fuel to the mythology. Most of the encounters also happen during bad lighting, and people may be seeing something that's not actually there. So what do you guys make of the Aswang and people's encounters? Do you think people are seeing a mysterious creature, or could it be attributed to some type of wildlife? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.